Everybody can hear me? Nice and clear. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Marlon. I'm one of 2 Methodist in the moment main dining room restaurants working on Celebrity Apex. I am in charge of deck 4 and this is my colleague in charge of deck 3. First of all, one question, anybody first time on Edge class? Ship? So most of you. And all of you been on Solstice class before? Yeah? Alright. So as you see, it's a bit different, Solstice class and Edge class. Main dining room, especially main dining room, restaurant. As you know, Solstice class was one big restaurant on deck 3, main dining room and select dining, which is on deck 4. And now we do some changes. We really like. As you see, you explained actually very good about the Normandy. Some of the items there belonging to SS Normandy, the original ship. And one of actually the first thing that we created is Celebrity Edge. If you've been to Normandy, you're going to see this one beautiful decoration on the left side of the Edge ship, coming straight directly from the ship. So this piece of art is there. There's some really glass and etc. So we are very proud of it. So to create this ambience and decoration and different variety of cuisines for the guests, but still combined in one big main dining room. Even though you prefer to go to one of them, we still, when you're gonna evaluate us, it's gonna be one main dining room restaurant. So as you see, Normandy, pinkish color, French contemporary cuisine. With we try to bring French flavor, French enthusiasm, and this classics to the guest. Toscan restaurant, typical Italian contemporary cuisine. By the way, our executive chef is from Italy, Mr. Capello. He will join us very soon. We try to bring this Italian flavor, of course, definitely to the guest. I know we cannot make 200-300 al dente pasta in a minute, but as I said, we can do it as fast as possible and closer to that region. Cyprus, Mediterranean typical cuisine, and cosmopolitan, contemporary American cuisine. We have Mr. Capello, who will definitely, Mr. Alessandro Capello from Italy is our executive chef, gentleman in charge of all galleys on the ship. So he will kindly escort you to the process of preparation, segregation. He will explain everything regarding how the ship is working. Where's the galley? Galley? I will show you. Besides that, any question regarding dining room? I forgot to ask. Any questions regarding dining room? Oh, I just forgot to kindly ask you to please be careful on your step when you go in the working area, still working area, galleys, crew areas, always working area. You know, slippery floor, you need to be very careful, just don't rush. And of course, definitely I need to ask you to wear the mask. Mask is mandatory as soon as you go to the crew areas. Mr. Capello from Italy, he will take over the mic.
Nice. Experience? Ready to work?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm always working very well to get some extra help the last day. When the cooks, they get some day off. Voila, here we have volunteers to come to working. Okay, now before we go inside, because definitely the galley is not so peaceful like here. The galley is a galley. But this is the pots and pans, and so it's pretty noisy location. This is why always the chef is yelling. They're not yelling, they try to speak, but they don't realize when we come out from the galley, there's no more noise. Anyway, as I said already, be careful inside. It might be slippery sometimes somewhere, because maybe some drop of the water or something could be fall on the floor. And when we are inside, please, looking around, if you have any question, anything come in your mind, don't hesitate to ask question, okay? Now, just to quick question. Any one of you did already the inside access other ships from a Celebrity? First time? Okay, we have 3 class of ships. Millennium class, they have a very large main galley, which is the largest on the fleet. On that galley, very big, there is also the blue galley, the luminary galley, and it's pretty all close to each other. But this is very easy to manage. Big area, a lot of cooks around. Then we go to the Solstice class, which they have 2 main galleys, one deck 3 and one deck 4. Deck 3 is for the fixed seating, first and second seating, which between the seating we close, and then is go deck 4 is open seating, which is open from when we open 6 o'clock around till the closing time. Bigger galleys too also, and then we come into the Edge class. We don't have anymore these 2 big galleys. We have 4 galleys for each restaurant. Maybe each restaurant has one each galley. Literally, when you come inside your restaurant, you're looking straight. Behind the walls there, you have your galley for the restaurant where you go. They are all of them independent. They're not dependent on each other. That is, each galley has their own team, a supervisor, they have their teams, which are taking care about what it is the galley. Now, we still to have the menu in a way a structure which is the same as the other ships, which is our 14 days menu rotation, which is the common with the other ships, with some revision here and there, or less choices, because we have 3 appetizers, 3 main dishes, 1 dessert, which is different than the other ships. This is also when guests want to experience kind of, we say, specialty experience, stay on the main dining room. This is why you have it these 4 different menus. If you go like it's Italian, or can be Mediterranean, or can be modern American, and so that is, the guests have some add-on experience if they want to experience something. Challenging because the labor is more demanding, because it's not more a big kitchen or where you have more manpower. This is like a more manpower available. Here you have split it. That is, who's working one side, it doesn't work the other side. That is more challenging. But then, anyway, we go inside. That is, you can see with your eyes, and mostly we go to see one kitchen, and then also you can see the other kitchen. They're similar. They might have the oven instead to be on one side, on the other side, but more or less they are very identical, all of them. Ready? Okay.
When was that brought on board?
Miami, last Miami, all over.
Okay.
Here we are. As you see, this is the cleaner make the barricade to protect themselves for the waiters. No, we do this kind of barricade just to prevent, because there is called dishwasher. Like this, technically is 2, one deck 3, one deck 4, but they are like a U shape, which is this one for each restaurant. Now we do this one to prevent any waiters come and drop something that's in here, while it's on the other side is open. The way is a kind of don't make mess where it's closed and just drop the dirty where it's open. And one question I got is when we got the lobster from yesterday. Okay, all the loading is done usually on the embarkation day. When the guests come on board is the day when we get all the deliveries. Now, what happened now today? Maybe some shortage, maybe some product doesn't make on time, or maybe happened 2 weeks ago. One truck was stuck on Miami, couldn't come on time, and then we missed one truck of product. No problem. We have always some exports, which is our vendor, they are in contact, and we try to recover one of the exports. Like on, we get some product on consumer because we get some shortage, which is, I would say, there is some ports it's very easy to get product because they get on hand a lot of items. Some port is more challenging. This is a kind of gambling sometimes, because Miami definitely is the easy one because all the product is around. But as of today, we seem to be under this COVID effect, which is all the chain of growing product, delivering product, still not very well because it's very challenging. But as I say, is the products come on board for 7 days on embarkation day. And how it's working is very simple. Is a provision master, which is the one you will meet later after me, is the one responsible to organize all the storage areas. He's going to send his estimated order to the vendor manager forward to me. I look in the files and I go to change the number according to what I saw is a problem for us, maybe a shortage, maybe too much orders and so. I send it back and 2 weeks later we get the product to come. Now we go to on 30th of April we move to Europe, and the fourth one we have more challenge because we have 2 kinds of orders. One is a container order from US to go to Europe, which you need around 8 weeks pre-order. That is, I need to estimate it now what I go to use in Europe, not even know what we might be needs. No challenge, yes, but we always chance the product of the where we are. And that is then when we have more than 7 days, like 10 days cruise and so, we have always a second port of load where we loading the high perishable product. That is fresh fish, berries, lettuce. Because a lot of like potatoes, onions and so, they list without problem even 3-4 weeks. But the other product we need to get it on top up if you do a 10-11 days. Okay, as this, you see before in the dishwasher, there is a U-shape, each restaurant is one. That is how it's working, very simple. The waiters come inside from the way where we came. They discard the food on the garbage, they give the plate to them, they wash it. The plate's coming out clean from the end of the shape. Then the waiter, they wash, sanitize their hand here on the hand wash sink. They go inside with the galley, they take the trays and they go again back on the line to collect the food for the next day. There is always a way in and then there's a way out. The way out is the other door. We never mix the doors, we never go out from where we're coming in operation time when there's food handled. When it's not, when it's closed, sometimes we take shortcuts, we go there, but you're the operation with the food now. We go inside of the galley. Here we are. Now, this galley is this deck 3. The galley is a little bigger than the deck 4 because we have this section there on the end, which we go to pass by later on. Is where we do the soup and the sauce. Now, each specialty restaurant, they're 100% independent. They do their own mise en place. They do everything from the menu from their place, and they don't take anything from any other location. Now, optionally buffet, Kafetzis 65 is our restaurant, and main dining room, there is this section which is assigned also to make mise en place for our location and also to divide it. This is why, because this is for efficiency, to ensure is we don't have many locations to prepare the same food, but certain product production is centralized to get less, better quality, less wastage also. Because if you prepare the food in 5 locations, you might get more wastage to do versus do only 1 location. Now here on my back is the pantry station. We have 2 pantries, one is here and one is that one. This pantry, they are dedicated to do all the cold appetizer, what is on the main dining room, all the 4 of them. And also they do canapes and amenities for us. This is a pantry chef in the morning. Here this. And these are taking around 10 pantry cooks here. So we're working all day. They do breakfast also for the ocean view, breakfast in the restaurant. It's pretty well organized and it's great place. Do you have any question, anyone over here? Yes.
Notice the different color initiative. Can you explain what those are? Red,
Yes.
yellow, and
Okay, perfect. Good question. Now, for us, is the color scarf is also easy. Each cook has a scarf, except the executive chef. Unfortunately, we ran out of money. Now, we have the yellow scarf, which is the lower position. It's cook 4 and cook 3. Then you go to the red one, is the second cook. We go to the green, is the first cook. We go to the blue, is the chef de partie. The chef de partie is already 1-stripe officer. And then we go to the black. Black is 3 different positions, actually 4. With the pantry chefs, the junior sous chef, and executive sous chefs. Now this ship is the only ship that has 4 executive sous chefs. Then each restaurant has one sous chef or junior sous chef, which they are supervised from the executive sous chef. Now the color scarf is good for us also to know is as a communication. Like if a waiter comes to the galley to ask something to someone, he knows to which color scarf he has to look. That is, he's looking usually for at least a black scarf or a blue scarf. That is something important. If someone is just for an apple, no problem. He's coming here, any cooks inside, please can you give an apple, they get an apple and then he's leaving. But important communication always delivered to the black scarves. This is why it's important for us to recognize from anyone, all the waiters they know, we don't told, oh, go to Bob and talk to Bob. No, we don't say this one. Say, okay, go to the brass card on deck 4, you talk to him. And whenever they see one brass card, they know he's a manager and they deliver the information. Any other question? Vacation, working hours? No. It sounds brutal to work in 7 days a week, 7 to 7, but it's not. Because when I experienced before, it's 8 years I worked in the company, before I worked in the hotel, and you have always days off, usually. And when you leave your station, you leave always, you want it, full loaded, all is there, ready to go. Then you come back, your partner didn't left nothing. You open the fridge, oh, there's nothing there. Oh, this is not good. It's Monday, right? That is the day you really hate. Monday is a very horrible day. As we have only one Monday in 4 months or 6 months. It's the first day you come on board. And then is every day is Thursday. Then we have one Friday when we go home, which we live in this. Is definitely needs time management because we have to work. Yes, if we work around, I would say 9 to 11 hours average per day, and it's not only the work, but we have also free time. We have our bars where we can get some drink with friends. We have also some, where is one of the bars we have a kind of small menu, like a bites menu, which is someone want to get something in the evening. We have also some tours we do also during the 4 days. That is, crew members do also some activity. There's some karaoke sometimes, there's things going on. That is, you also get some fun after the job. That is not only working, go to sleep. That is important. If you can drink only 1 beer or 2 beers, you don't drink 4 or 5 because next day is coming. That is, we need all of us to learn how to manage the working hours and the resting time. But as of now, more than before, there's a lot of rules, regulation. They're really very strong. Like this is by law, we cannot get at least less than 10 hours break per day. That is, everybody needs to get at least more than 10 hours break a day. That is as of now, it's a very, I will say, compared to the past where it was work, now it's really a regular work environment. You're regulated from working hours, resting times.
Do you get to eat in the buffet?
Sorry?
Do you eat in the buffet? The
A separate dining area?
We have, okay, now there is an officer privilege to go to Ocean Buffet, and you might see a lot of officers coming up to the buffet. That is, there's a lot of opportunity for everybody to go around. And this is, even crew member can go to specialty, because same as the guest, we have discount of course as a crew member, but we can go to the specialty restaurant to have a dinner. Of course, always according the village to the restaurant. But yes.
Is there a separate galley that cooks for the employees, the crew?
Yes, all the restaurants have their own kitchen. Now, you might be go to that area also. Our restaurant is called Kafetzis 65, Topic 65, which is a very nice, the one that used to call a crew mess for the ship area because it's an open kitchen. It's like a big kitchen, very big, like this one. And then the front of the kitchen is all the sitting for the crew. We do breakfast, lunch, tea time in the afternoon, dinner, and then the dinner also for the waste time. We go the other side. This is the garlic. They're preparing for lunch, we're preparing for dinner. We are on the middle of their preparation. The garlic are very similar, each one of them. They have the 2 stoves over there, 2 or 3 stoves. They have ovens. Any question or more? Oh, we go outside from here. You can prepare it on the left side. Good morning. Good morning. here with the okay, I'm coming there.
Kind of attracting our attention to that. Okay, up straight.
Et voilà, everybody's here. This is Koa, the provision master, is the one who's responsible for all this area, provision area, which is my most important person because the one helping me to get the product and to ensure is the product is maintained and good from the beginning till the end. Otherwise, I have to pay, it doesn't matter what. Thank you very much, thank you for your time, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Right. My responsibility here is like I make the orders and create the orders after the chef, executive chef, they have to be approved. Send them to the area. Send the bar side, the beverage operation manager, be responsible to check the order before we send it to the area. So this is the procedure. And they are the one who receiving the order. All the deliveries, the vacation day, they have to receive it. Make sure everything coming according to the order. So we order according to the consumption. We have also the procedure here. Every day we prepare the requisition for all the food and beverage. One day before, the executive chef and the bar manager approving the order for all the cooks and all the bars, the bar manager. So we prepare for them, preparation, so then come here to do it to upstairs. We have our inventories also we do in all the provision area. We have a room we do every week. Some room we do every 15 days and some room monthly. So we have to get all the physical with the system.
Good morning, everybody.
This is the procedures and we have also we have total 18 rooms. We have some also in day one, so we have 3 rooms upstairs, the majority is over here in the group. So we have also the elevator that send the platform to down, all the platform to send to take one. And after that, we preparing, we have also cleaning. So we need to clean all, maintain and cleaning all the room, organize it. Like you see here, the one is preparing for tomorrow, to have a nice special clean. So this is our procedures. Okay, you want to see any room, bar room, or come and show you here the before and one. So you can
stock about 10,000 bottles of liquor every week.
This is a special room. All the liquor and the red wines over there.
Is the room labeled bananas, literally just bananas? Yeah. There's nothing else in there but bananas?
Banana is over there.
But it's just bananas? There's nothing else in
Banana,
there?
There's a sign.
Bananas.
Yeah, we have in the other side also. So in the closing we don't have too much stuff to come, not too fast because we have a limited time to prepare food, so we need to make sure to be on time. And also after the company they request to have like a 3 or 4 days stop, just in case you have any problem. So this is a company request to have all the time food and beverages for 3 or 4 days stop. Yeah. You have any question? No? Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the cruise.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, just to put it into perspective, these guys work about 8 months contract a year. There's only 19 of them, and the amount of things they have to order every week changes like completely all the time because of different demographics, different cruises, lengths of cruises. The boat's chartered by a company, so they really have a tough job. I was telling a couple at the back, they stock about 10,000 bottles of liquor every week. And then obviously you can see the beers. We call that room the happy room. About 30,000 pounds of beef every week, and they maintain 50,000, which is quite intense. Also about 400 gallons of milk a week.
Yeah,
400 gallons of milk a week, 500 loaves of bread, which is including our pastry section that makes our rolls and stuff. So a lot of things that need to be ordered. So these guys work months in advance, knowing the itinerary and what needs to be what demographic or what the situation is on the ship. So
actually the total amount of order in the food side, we have sometimes we have $480,000 and sometimes more than $500,000. So depending on the consumption, so these are
okay. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. All right. So we are now going to be going to the environmental officer and show us how the segregation system works. Us as crew members really find us passionate part of our daily jobs, because all the recyclable rebates we can actually go into our crew or fare account, which allows us to then have good evenings, do bingo and have parties in the night, or cheese and wine evenings, which is awesome. So the crew members really
How was the cruise so far? Very good. My name is Stavros. I am the environmental officer. We are going to have a quick overview about our program called Save the Waves. Save the Waves started back in 1992. It was the first attempt of the company to create a framework about the environment. The program grown with years. Now we have a dedicated department in the Miami office, and from over there we receive all the guidelines and the instructions. The golden rule of the program is nothing goes overboard. This is as per the international legislations, and of course any kind of regulation implies the same. Please.
Sorry. All right.
Thank you.
So we are based on 4 principles. The first one is above and beyond compliance. So what we like to do is to identify what is the most strict regulation around the globe, and then we implement as our own policy. Continuous improvement. Whenever we have a new legislation, we need to adopt it fast. Whenever we have a new operating system, we want to implement as soon as possible for our operation. Then we have the prevention pollution. Can you name what is the worst case scenario for us? Oil spill, for example, is one of the worst case scenarios. So we have a dedicated team on board that they are going to respond to any kind of incident. And of course we have a vendor or a contractor that will come and assist us as soon as possible. And the last but not least is the reuse and recycle. That goes for the cycle of the water, the energy, and mainly about the waste. So for the water, we try to convert seawater to fresh water. This is the main way to have fresh water on board. Of course, whenever we have the water production, we have the consumption and we have the wastewater. Here on board, we treat 100% of our wastewater. So all the water that is coming from the restaurants, the galleys, the medical facility, all the different drains is collected. And then we have the AWP system, really fast. We have the pre-screening, so if we have any foreign objects, any plastic, that will be separated. Then we have a stage of filters. Then we have a bioreactor that is good, so we are using beneficial bacteria to dissolve the organic matter. Stage of filters, and then UV light in order to clear any pathogen. Down to the engine, we have a lab that we are measuring the different parameters. Before discharging the water, we need to make sure that we are in compliance. Other operating system that helps in every day is the scrubbers. I don't know if you notice, sometimes we might have white smoke coming out from the funnel. Actually, this is steam. So what we do, we spray the funnel with water, and that will take the nitrogen and the sulfur from our exhaust system. Then the water will be collected. We have a hybrid system, so we can operate in open loop and closed loop, so we can control whenever we want to have the discharges. Also here we have a catalytic system in order to take more of the NOx outside from our emissions. Down to the engine we have the oily water separator. So what we do sometimes, due to maintenance, we have some lubricant leaks, some oil leaks. So what we do, we collect that water and we pass it through the system. The oily parts, the oily parts will be stored in the tank. When we reach the port, we are going to offload. The clean bill, the water that has some parts of oil, we can discharge at sea. International legislation states 15 parts per million. We have more strict, it's 5 parts per million. So we have 10 degrees more strict internal policy, just to make sure that we will have a misalignment, we are within compliance. Also we have the ballast treatment system. When we travel, we might have rough weather, so we need to transfer water from one side to the other in order to balance our vessel and to feel more comfortable traveling. However, we need to treat that water because we don't want to transfer any species from a region that's supposed to be transferred to another one. In the past, especially the cargo vessels, they were taking massive amount of water and then they were transferred to different areas. So for example, we had invasive species transferred from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean, also to some islands. I worked with Summit in Bermuda before. So over there they have a huge problem with lionfish. So lionfish was imported from a different area. They don't have any predators, so that is reproducing fast, and they are creating a misbalance to the local ecosystem. Therefore, here on board we have a treatment system, so it's a stage of really fine filters and UV light in order to clear any microorganisms that can pass through the system. And through the filtration, big organisms cannot pass. Regarding the food waste, we have the pulpers that was going, the water is going through the different galleys. So what we do, we spread the food in small pieces that will be cooled in a tank, and then we are allowed to discharge at sea at 12 nautical miles, 6 knots speed. Food that cannot be processed, we store it in our cold room, that is a dedicated space, and then we offload to our contractor in the different ports, and that will be used as composting. Used cooking oil will be recycled and will be used again. Our target as a company is to have zero landfill, so all of our waste has to go to either incineration to energy, biofuels, or recycling. We almost reached 85% of the goal. As you can understand, we travel worldwide, and then we visit some countries and ports that they don't offer such facilities, and therefore we need to keep our garbage for longer times now. This is why you see plenty of items around, because this is for the entire cruise, because we have the green hub in Miami, that from over there they have all those facilities that they can guarantee zero landfill. So the limitation that we have on board is space. Space is always our struggle. We might have new operating systems that can do better processing of our waste, but unfortunately we don't have enough space to implement that to our vessels. So all the garbage from the different areas of the vessel and the staterooms will come here. you already see some crew members passing through. So we segregate manually. Some guests, they are asking why we're not recycling, because especially in the staterooms, we don't have different bins. Don't worry about it. We segregate manually over here. Around the vessel, we have the different color bins, especially the crew areas, that we are segregating. We have a massive project for plastic reduction. We managed to reduce our plastic by 60%. Here in Celebrity, we also banned the plastic straws, the plastic water bottles. Now you have the aluminum cans. For crew areas, we have water refill stations. In the future, we might have the same for guest areas, but from the public health perspective, we need to find a product that can sanitize at the same time in order to avoid any cross-contamination. I don't know if you're interested, we can visit the garbage room really quick. I know that it's not the most fascinating space, but it's one of the key for our operation. When we enter, please mind your head, because one of the equipment is quite short, not to have any incident. Last day it would be nice to have a mark from Apex. So please follow me. So over here is our garbage room. We prefer to call it recycling center now because it's the new perspective that we have in the region. So we bring all the different materials over here. We have the different bins that we segregate. The materials, aluminum cans, steel rods, glass. So over here we have the cardboard baler. In that side we have the glass crusher, and over there we have the shredder. Also here we have one incinerator, so materials that they consider contaminated, either medical waste or they touch food, we need to burn those in order to avoid any public health outbreaks. So really fast what we do, we feed the garbage into the first stage, then we have a cylinder with blades that will crush the materials, then we have a silo that will hold the waste, and then we'll go eventually down to the flames. The incinerator can reach up to 1,000 Celsius. It's a high-risk area. This is why we have a permanent CO2 system. So in case of fire, our crew members will evacuate the area. CO2 will be released. The fire will not have any oxygen to run, and we are going to take the fire really fast, so that the fire can be extinguished really fast. So far so good. We never had an incident. Let's hope that we will keep that way. Regarding the chemicals and the hazardous materials, we have a specific procedure for those. So all the chemicals, hazardous materials, we need to pack them separately. We need to have the SDS form, so we know what is the material. Then for those materials we have a tracking number, so our contractor will take those materials. And then when the product has been treated to the treatment facility, we are going to receive a certification that the product has been treated before disposed to the environment. Because we own the waste until it reaches the final destination. So especially for those, we need to make sure that all precautions and all the treatments took place. What else? Apologize. Yes, please.
The aluminum water bottles?
Yes.
Are those reused, like sent away and refilled?
Unfortunately, we cannot keep them in the original packets because, as I mentioned, our limitation is with storage, so we need to compress everything. For example, an aluminum can, it needs to reduce the original volume by 80%. But the good news for crew members is that all the money from the rebates, yes please.
What happens to the clothes that passengers leave behind?
Yes, so regarding the clothes, usually before COVID, we were collecting those, we were washing them, and then we were donating to the different ports that we visit. Now, due to the COVID pandemic, we try to avoid donations just in case that we might, the ports are more concerned now, but usually we try to donate. And this is why one of the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. So the first thing is to reduce the original volume and the original packaging. Sometimes you order a small item like that and it's coming in a mega box with multiple layers. So we go back to our supply chain, in which we try to avoid and minimize the unnecessary packaging materials. Then we have the reuse, and there the donation goes. Sometimes, because we have high standards, if an item is damaged or scratched, we need to discard it. So instead of discard it, we try to donate. And then is the recycle, the third approach that we do so. As you can understand, our company is highly related with a clean environment. You visit pristine destinations, very beautiful areas. So we need to make sure that we keep the environment at the same state, and if we can contribute to improve it, we do so. We have a huge sustainability program. We try to implement the United Nations indicators regarding the sustainability in general. Besides the environment, we have all the different socio-economic aspects of it, and this is the target for us for 2030. But besides that, our business is highly related with the clean environment. We strongly believe that it's our responsibility, not just for the guests that they are selling for us, but for the crew and the communities. In the end of the day, besides our countries and the hometowns, we all share the same home called planet Earth, and we should be more aware and more sensitive about it, not just for us, but also for future generations that they have the right to live in a good and healthy environment. Apologies for the big monologue. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions? Thank you very much. Now you go to more fascinating places. Thank you.
On the walls we have all of our cabins, well not all of them, most of them.
Morning.
And from it's very easy for us to access any area of the ship when we need to work or we need to etc. We also use there what we call the daily crew, and one of two, how can I say, bars slash restaurant areas where we can play bubble guests so we can breathe all day. And we also the one that I'll show you is the non-smoking one. And then we also have a smoking section upstairs on deck 6, where we have games as well. Sure. And outside smoking areas for those who smoke. Yeah, we also have a game room.
Okay everyone, thank you very much for your participation. My name is Iwan. I am the laundry manager. So welcome to the laundry in Celebrity Epic. So maybe anyone before did another access in the inside access from the another ship. So Swiss class, medium class, no one. So when you go to another ship, it's totally different. Because what you see right now in the main laundry is totally technology is getting higher and higher. As you see here, I will explain direct to you in the visual that there is one monitor in there, but actually the machine behind of this room. This machine we call continuous bath washer. This machine, what kind of this machine is it? It's almost the same like the water extractor there, but they combine. 8 machines become one. Very big. So from the forward until to the up is connecting. And this machine, how this thing is work? This machine will be dumping every batch one by one. Each compartment will be changing and take for 30 to 45 minutes to finish. And in a day we can wash more than 6,000 to 7,000 kilograms of linen. Very fast. And this machine is very good because it's connecting with the dryers and also it's working with the robotics for the shuttle. So when I put the soiled linen here, we will go continuously. It's automatically. They will go by this, the dryers behind. Everything is automatic. So we don't do anything at all. So but I wish in the future when we put the soil linen, it come out is folded. So I don't say anything. Okay everyone, I will show you the return of the work. Please follow me by this way. As you see in the wet rolling, this is all the linen has been washed. So this is the one using the continuous bath washer and will be come out from the unloading conveyor. As you see around of you, and this is the process. After we wash it, we will dry. After go to the dryer, and we will press it by this machine. And this machine we call flat box iron. As you see, we have a 4% here. We are putting the pillowcase. So first person, 4 person in the front, they feeding all these pillowcases, and we'll go to the second machine to be fresh, to get dry and nice, fresh, and go to the third machine, will be folding machine. As you see here we go, this is getting covered. Yeah, and as you see around of you, this is the linen after we've been pressed. Very nice. Okay, so what about the towels? The towels is gonna be on the other side. I'll bring you on the other side. Okay, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Good job.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. So the continuous box washer is, I told you it was automatic. What is coming up from this side is only towels. It's coming on from the other side is only linen. So everything was automatic. We don't do anything. And how about the towels? What you do with the towels? The towels, we use the towel folders here. Okay. I will show you this machine only need 1%. Go for it. Just put this thing down. Here we go. This will be folded by half in the middle. And then they will fold it another half by down. They will send it down on this machine. And every 5 cup of the towel will become on automatically from the other side. I will show you the result. But it's myself I do it. But if my team do it, they can finish only 749 an hour. Okay, everyone. So we go to another side. Anyone knows what's one of these areas? What they think they need to bring, they just bring their own powder product. For the softener, for the detergent, they bring their own, but the machine will provide from here. So on this side is for the crew laundry, and I'll bring you on the other side. This is dry cleaning room. So last place we go into laundry. Okay, so everyone have the same question. They wonder how they handle the gas laundry for 2,000, 1,000 gas on board. Yes?
Yeah.
So if you want to know the answer, please book for the another course. I will explain it. Nobody wants. So what you see, there are one machine there, the small one is there. That we call is tagging machine. So that machine one is helping us. So if you ever send your laundry down, you are gonna have tagging number on behind of your neck. Sometimes your cabin number, sometimes it's kind of alphabetical there that you are coming for. So if anyone from 12th, 1 or 4, the laundry is ready, you can pick up. Okay everyone, I will show you one machine, it's very interesting machine. This is the last machine I will show you. This machine we call it foam finisher. As you see here, it's very wrinkled, actually it's my clothes. I will use this machine. This machine is very easy to use. You just put the clothes on. And then it will be still. Then you pour the wafers from that. About that.
Wow.
Anyone who get press for free, just take off now. No, by the way. Okay everyone, so this is the last of the part of the laundry, so thank you very much for your participation. I'll return videos. Thank you.
And it's my first time doing this, so if you see me a little bit nervous, it's because it's just my first time. So, welcome to engine control room, as we say. This is the heart of the ship. The part from where we control all aspects of the ship. From propulsion, power, electricity, water production, heating, basically whatever needs you have on the land, we can provide also here. Same, we are basically like a floating ship, a small ship. So, for the power, we have 5 main engines that they produce electricity, which is then sent to our propulsion systems, which is an azipod. What means an azipod? It's a propeller underwater with an electric motor that it spins 360 degrees. I prepared here like a small presentation. So basically, all this part is underwater. The propeller, and inside here we have, let's say, like a motor that is turning the propeller and pushing the ship forward. The main engines, total horsepower production is 72,000 horsepower. And one azipod of the 2 that we have, it's producing like 22,000 horsepower, one of them. So basically, 75% of the power produced, we are using it to propel the ship, and the rest we are using for electricity, air conditioning, water, general needs. We have, for the water production, we have 2 reverse osmosis that they take the water from under the sea. We push it through some filters, very small filters, in high pressure. The residue remains behind, and the clean water arrives to us, where it's remineralized through mineralizers. It's basically the same thing like the water runs through the ground. Basically where the water gets all the minerals back, and then it's stored in our tanks, and later on sent throughout the ship. Of course, controlled for pH and chlorine levels to be within the limits. We have also in the front for maneuvering, we have 4 bow thrusters. So when the captain is ready to maneuver the ship to arrive in the port, we are using the bow thrusters and the azipods that they are turning 360 to bring the ship alongside, to move it forward, backwards, to keep it in any position that the captain wants. The engines that we have, they can run both on HFO, heavy fuel oil, and also MGO, which is marine gas oil, like diesel, let's say, for the common. We have a system that is cleaning all the exhaust gases of the engine. Like, it's called the scrubber system. So we are using seawater together with the alkali, which is caustic soda, to regulate the pH of the water inside. And we are cleaning the exhaust gases before we release them in the air. And also we have, like in the normal cars, the usual catalyzers. This is a new addition to the ship industry, just few years.
What is the maximum knot speed?
Maximum speed
it's 24 knots. Let's say the cruising speed is 19, 20. There is the most efficient way to run the ship. Sometimes if the current helps us, we can go even faster for the, let's say, we are set for 19 knots, and because the wind is from the back or the current is from the back, this the breeze can explain you more, we will go faster. Sometimes we will go slower. For the water production of the engine that we need also water downstairs for the boilers to heat up, to make steam in order to heat up all the ship. We are heating it with steam, so we're using the heat from the engines, from the exhaust of the engines. We pass it through economizers that are filled with water. The water is boiling basically from the exhaust gases of the engines, and we create steam that then later on we use to heat the ship, to heat the galleys, so they can cook. And these steams need water, so we have two evaporators that they generate water again from the sea. We take in the water, we boil it in vacuum. So basically when you boil the water in vacuum, you don't need to reach it at 100 Celsius to boil. You can boil it 65. I have a camera here that you can see all our engines. We have two 12 in V, two 8 in line engines, and one smaller to help us sometimes when we need. It's a 12 V engine, the number 5 in the center camera there. We have also view from outside, because sometimes during the night we are feeling lonely here. We are all by ourselves. So to see at least what's going on outside.
Are the engines designated to a certain isopod, or they can go to both?
No. It's any engine can go to any. So the engines just produce the electricity, and then the electricity is sent wherever it needs. To the air conditioning, the most power consumer that we have, it's the azipods, the thrusters, that's when they are operational, and chillers. Chillers, they want the HVAC basically, that they consume the most power. So on this side behind you there, we controlling what it's called the air conditioning plant. So basically this area it's used for the air conditioning, elevators, electricity. We can control all the ship from here. Even the controls for the propulsion are exactly where you see the small screens below with the black ring. There are the propulsion control system. So from there we can even operate the ship. We can move it forward, backward.
Between the ECR room and the bridge, it's kind of like who's got the biggest trump card.
No. Usually we let them to control it. They don't take this responsibility.
Is your communication with the bridge electronic, voice? How do you
Voice.
It's all voice?
All voice. We have also, we can use cameras. We have microphones that can be used, like the one here. We have one, so we can use like a conference. But usually it's by telephone, the old way, the classic. And we have also intercom. If we need to stay constant and you need all your hands available, we have intercom, we open the intercom and we can communicate with the bridge really all the time.
Is the IT and technical, are they part of engineering or a different department?
Different department. We have our electrical department, which they know also some IT, so but the IT is different department. Because also the IT is a lot. It's a very smart ship.
How many props are on this?
How many?
How many props?
Propellers?
Yeah.
So we have the two for the azipods, which are 6 meters wide. So big, and the four for the bow thrusters, which they are 3 meters in diameter. Let's say half the size of the pods.
So the azipods, 360?
Yes, they turn 360. They have steering motors, hydraulically operated, let's say, and we can turn it 360 forever. It doesn't tangle a cable or something. Turn it forever.
quick question. I heard that with Azipods, you actually run them in more or less a pulling configuration because it's more efficient.
Yes, we are pulling. It's more efficient.
Gotcha. Oh, I thought that was kind of cool.
So basically, how we are now, the propeller is under the ship, pulling the water in front and throw it in back. How is this? Let's say, imagine that the forward of the ship is here, and the aft of the ship is here. So the propeller is pulling the water through. Any other questions? Okay, we have another system. Let's say I forget to talk about that. It's treating the water. That it's used after we take shower. All this water must go somewhere. We don't throw it at sea. We treat it and then we discharge it overboard. So all the water, whatever is coming from the hotel, it is treated and then discharged to sea. If it's allowed. If it's not allowed, we have sufficient tanks to store the water. And once we get clear, in certain areas, we discharge it over. The garbage gets incinerated in the incinerator room. I don't know if you've been there already. Yes. All the more detailed environmental access provided to you.
So welcome on board. Welcome and navigational grades of Celebrity Apex. We're gonna say a few things regarding the grade. For this reason, we're gonna move on a week. Due to the COVID restrictions, we have to minimize the time in 15 minutes. I'm sorry about that. That's the regulations from the company. So follow me on the week to see if you can. So as you can see, the grades from the base we have full view of the ship. It's actually the place where we have the command of the whole ship. We have the control of the ship. We navigate the ship, and we are here to keep you safe. Okay, to return back safe as you came. So currently here on the wing, we have a repeater, let's say, of the controls. The same controls we have on this side, on the center, and on the other side. The reason why we have these wings is to have better view during the docking. Captain comes here and have a better view how the environmental conditions and the situation during the maneuver. Here we have the controls of the azimuths. So the ship is equipped, we don't have the normal propellers that all the ships have. We have propellers that are rotating 360 degrees. So for this reason, we don't have also rudders. So the propellers are rotating and are at the same time rudder and propeller. You know, we have thrust and also we have the maneuver. The power that we have is 21,700 horsepower. Okay. Other than the propellers, we have as well the thrusters, which are located in the bow. They allow us to have better maneuverability, let's say, during the docking. So let's say we use the propellers, but we use extra propellers on the bow in order to handle the ship better. Every thruster, we have 4 thrusters. Every thruster has a horsepower of 3,700. Other than that, we have several ways. Of course, we don't use only one way. I mean, we don't have only one way to handle the ship. In case that something goes wrong, we have backup, and backup system. It's a huge ship, costs 1 billion. This means that we are equipped for every case, and even if something goes wrong, we are ready to deal with this straight. So even if we cannot handle the ship, I mean, we lose our control from here, we have backup, also secondary system that we can use from here, and also we can maneuver the ship straight from the boats, from the stern, where they stay straight from the propellers. That's it more or less for the engines. We have 5 engines. Currently we are running 2 engines. We are making a speed of 16.5 knots. And here we can see the charts. On board this ship, if all of you want to have some tea here. We don't use the typical classic paper charts. We have electronic charts. So the electronic charts replaced the traditional way, let's say, of the navigation. And they are quite better because we have several informations further than the typical chart. So here you see our seat. Okay, if I zoom in a little bit, we're gonna see more accurately. Here is our seat. Okay, in a scale. So the red line is our track. Is the track that we follow now. Of course, the sea is huge, but we are not sailing randomly, we are not just sailing with the eyes. We must plan a route, we must take into account the environmental conditions, the hazards that maybe they are existing in every area, and we follow strictly the course because we know that if we deviate, something maybe is existing that it's unknown, or something like that. So we remain in our course. It's a safe course. We have checked, all of us, one by one, the points, and all of us, each one of us is responsible for this course. I mean, we sign for this and we verify that it's safe. If something is not correct, all of us we are responsible. Yeah, we can see here the red line, the black line is the heading. Is, let's say, the direction of our bow, how we head now. So our heading currently is 056 degrees, 56 degrees. We have high accuracy, as you can see from the GPS. We can take the accuracy of point decimal something. So we can see here that our heading is 056.8, is high accurate. And of course we have multiple GPS for this region. In case that something happened to the one GPS, we have backup GPS, and we take multiple informations at the same time. Other than that, we can see the speed direction currently. As you can see here, this is the wind. We have high winds today, 28 knots, and we have strong current, 2.2 knots. We can see also on the charts the depth of the sea. We have here around 2,000 meters of the depth and plenty of other information. I don't know if you have any questions about this that we mentioned currently. No?
What if the electronic charts actually go down? There's still paper?
Yeah, for this reason we have plenty of charts. I mean, it's not one system.
Sure.
We have 3-4 backup systems for this reason. Generally, as a ship is above and beyond. I mean, we don't have one system for anything.
Right.
Okay. That's it. I don't know. Do you want the next one?
How does this ship compare to other ships you've been on? Obviously much newer. Right?
It's highly maneuverable because we have very strong engines, and also the design of the ship is very efficient. So for this reason, the ship is extremely maneuverable. We have also the thrusters on the bow, as I mentioned. So yeah, we have a very high maneuverability. On every duty, actually the ship is 24 hours manned. For every duty there are existing at least 2 officers. On my duty now, we are 3 officers. It's myself, I'm second officer. First officer is Sarah on the main console. She is the officer of watch, I am assistant. And Spiros, who is just arrived, he is the third officer. And we have one sailor who is looking out all the time. Why we have so many officers on the bridge? I mean, 3 officers at the same time plus 1 person look out in this space seems weird. The reason is that all of us, we have tasks first of all, and we do always something. Except from that, more pair of eyes means that we navigate the ship more safely. In case that I miss something, the other officer will notice. If the other officer will not notice, the sailor or the other officer will notice. Okay, so that's why we're plenty of us. The navigation of this ship is very important for every ship, and especially for myself when I know that I have the responsibility of 3,000 persons, behind me. It's very, very stressful actually as a I'm 23 years old and already my hair started growing. I cannot imagine myself in 10 years.
The whole glass.
The whole, yes.
What is it
gives better view to the captain, let's say about the pier. How is the distance, so he knows better how we are coming, how fast we are coming to the pier. So he has better view here to calculate his maneuver.
I've noticed on piers that they've got different markings and locations along the piers.
Yeah.
Like different.
Yeah, the reason is because, let's say we are going to the same ports more or less. We are marking the bollards that we use in order to know for the next time which one we are going to use to be more easy for us, the docking.
What are your procedures or precautions for man overboard?
Procedures, yes. Yeah, interesting question. I hope we'll not practice this experience. So yes, in case of man overboard, first of all, we must assist from the bridge, and from if someone shows the person overboard, locally from there, we throw the life rings. We have life rings around the decks. We throw the life ring as an initial action. We call the bridge ourselves, and they inform us about the side that the person is overboard. Why we need to know in which side the person is overboard. The most important reason is because we need to perform a special maneuver in order to avoid our propellers to catch, let's say, this person. It means we need to keep it safe. So let's say if we have the person overboard from this side, we're gonna turn our stern in the opposite side to keep our ship away from the person which is overboard. And then we're gonna rotate back to save the person. Emergency card. No, I gave it to Nasus, and I think I saw it in your options.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago. Hit ground.
Yeah, run aground. Different factors that they, lead to this kind of accidents, and I think was mostly the current and the wind of this day that push. It's very narrow there on this port. This was the port of Puerto Plata. For these ships, for this length and of this size of ship, it's very narrow. If you go with a boat, okay, you must see a full area. I mean, it's just an ocean there. But for us, it's not just an ocean because the draft that we have is currently, for example, 8.4 meters. So you imagine that we have 8 meters below the water. Okay, it's very different. It's very different.
Doesn't sit very low, does it? 24 feet?
Yeah, 24 feet, approximately 24 feet.
Probably lower than water.
It's not a small boat.
Well, for big.
It's a 300 meter ship.
I think the escape is the Jinx. It's had multiple problems. It's run into piers, it's run into ground, it's a Jinx ship.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you so much.
Feel free to take photos. And I hope to see you again.